The real let go. I've been meeting many new people lately. It's been nice to enjoy the company of other people. I felt like such a piece of crap when my wife first left, and my self-esteem and self-worth were absolutely decimated. However, I now seem to be getting a fair amount of attention from the opposite gender. I guess I never paid attention to it before because I gave all my attention to my wife. I was oblivious to other women for the most part. My self-worth and self-esteem are back. I now feel good about myself both mentally and physically. People say I'm a fairly attractive, in good shape, and an intelligent and witty guy. Although I am 39, I look like I am 10 to 6 years younger. I struggle with wanting companionship and friendship since I am lonely. However, I don't want to date other women because I want my marriage to work. I would not want my wife dating other men either. This happens to be one of the most frustrating aspects of this whole situation. I'm not sure where my breaking point is in this whole thing. No bonding, no consistent love, nominal affection, lack of companionship, etc. I want and desire all these things, yet I am getting next to nothing. I also know that if I do cross that line, I will never want to go back to my wife. I would feel too guilty if and when we are able to reconcile. How do others deal with this? What is your take? What do you do when you feel this way? Let me add to this, when I spoke to a friend and asked for his advice, he gave me this analogy. Your wife took her car and left it running and unlocked in the middle of the road. Eventually, someone is going to get inside and take it for a ride. He suggested I go out, have a great time, and don't feel guilty. She Skype chatted me again. However, I'm beginning to realize I am starting to become fed up with her and her BS. All she seemed interested in was whether I found a new job and if I was going to pay the car insurance. Made me feel really special and important. I deserve better than to be treated like the only thing I'm good for is to pay bills. Her focus seemed to only be about my financial situation. A picture I had of myself online was too provocative, and I jumped to conclusions and called people that I shouldn't. I told her I don't care who she calls or what she does anymore. She can do whatever she wants. When I cared and worried, all it did was take me to bad places in my mind, and I would rather not bother to worry and stress myself out over things I have no control over, and for a person that does not seem to care about me the way I want to be cared for anyways. I'd rather be happy and focus on myself and making my life better. I'm starting to let go completely and come to terms that whatever happens is really not up to me, and there really is nothing more I can do without her desire and effort in regard to fixing our marriage. I'm just going to live my life and worry about me from now on. I deserve to be loved and treated with affection the way I need and want. I have value and worth and bring so much more to the table than what she apparently gives me credit for any longer and or perceives. I pay the bills. The big picture in a nutshell is that I have begun to detach myself and not give care anymore because I feel I should be loved regardless pf money. If the only purpose I serve is to pay for things, then I am not interested in that kind of love. What my income might be should have no major bearing on the health of our relationship and dictate the amount of affection or love in my opinion. Pardon my crass attitude, however, I want real love and not the kind that has to be bought. Whatever her reasoning or excuses, it does not justify the behavior. I've been abandoned and forsaken by my wife, and this was done by her own choice. She has exercised her own free will and chose this situation over us being together. I never abandoned her or our marriage by making a cognizant decision to do so, and would never do that unless the reasons were justifiably correct, and even then, I would still have much trepidation and at the very least want to talk about it and give her an opportunity to try and resolve whatever problem or issues there was. She still refuses to make any effort to resolve our marital issues. We still have not communicated constructively about the situation. I have no clue as to where I stand, and her lack of decision or indifference is a choice in itself. Whatever emotional affair she might or might not be having, she made those choices. I am not weak and know I would never allow that to happen to myself and risk destroying my marriage. She left over 2 months ago now. I haven't so much as even touched another woman in an intimate manner other than her since the day we got married. I might even go a step further and say this holds true since our first date. When I locked myself away in my home all day, I would constantly obsess in an unhealthy manner on my relationship with my spouse, instead of focusing on me and making myself better. I have to force myself most of the time. However, it does take my mind off of all the craziness I would put myself through in the beginning, and slowly but surely, I would start to smile and laugh again. Once this started to happen, I knew I was on a good path to finding peace and happiness in myself again. Finding happiness in yourself is probably the most important step towards breaking the cycle of negative behaviors. Once I was able to do that, I was much better prepared in the process of making changes in my own life to begin a constantly evolving process of improving and bettering myself. On January 12th at about 6 p.m. our beloved dog became extremely ill. When I initially told my wife, she thought I was exaggerating the situation. I finally got it through to her that it was an emergency. She agreed to meet me at the animal hospital. When I arrived at the animal hospital with him, I was rushed to the emergency surgery center, where in turn they hurried me out of the room. I was escorted to an examining room where I was handed stacks of paper to fill out and wait until they were able to stabilize our dog. My wife arrived shortly thereafter. We waited together for some news of what was going on. My friend as well as her friend arrived in a sign of support to us. They knew how much our dog meant to us. The veterinarian came out covered in blood with devastating news. He told us that there was nothing he could do. The surgery was not successful and that our dog had lost over 4 liters of blood. I instantly went into a state of shock. I begged and pleaded with the veterinarian to do whatever it took. Just do something to save our dog. He didn't seem optimistic, however, agreed and then walked away. Tears started to stream down my eyes and my wife's as well. She got angry and started to accuse me that it was my fault. Everything was now gone and destroyed from our former lives together. This sent me into a rage inside myself. However, I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of knowing how badly what she just said hurt me. While in reality I wanted to cause her as much hurt and pain as she caused me over the last 2 months, including that moment, and condense it all into an all-powerful assault. But I couldn't. I neither had it in me, nor could see the point of making her suffer any worse. Apparently, both our friends admonished her for what she was doing as I walked away to be alone in my own state of shock and grief. I'm not too sure as to the specifics of what happened. However, what seemed like an eternity later, the veterinarian surgeon came back out and said miraculously our dog took a turn for the better. I felt hope. We all felt hope again and a sense of relief. I told the surgeon to go back inside and do whatever was necessary and to stop wasting his time with us. He readily agreed. My wife came to me and took my hand. We walked for a moment and then she apologized. She hugged me and I hugged her back. I said I wanted our dog to live. I wanted us to be all right, and I couldn't take this anymore. We remained in each other's arms for a few more moments until we were able to gather ourselves into a presentable state and walked back towards our friends that were there for our support. From this point forward, we were there for one another. We were partners and a team again. My mother-in-law arrived shortly thereafter, as well as one of her mother-in-law's close friends. We waited comforting one another for what seemed like an eternity, waiting on the surgeon to present the news that our dog was finally stable again. This happened at around 11 p.m. We all went inside to a small examining room. The surgeon couldn't answer any questions as to what happened to our dog with any certainty. However, he told us that our dog was stable. They had to remove his spleen and give him several blood transfusions. He told us we could see him. He was doing better. Honestly, at that time, that was all that mattered anyways. I wanted for our dog to pull through. We started planning how we were going to care for him in his recovery, and there was a general sense of optimism again. We all took our turns loving on our dog. He was unconscious. However, I believe we all felt that he could sense our presence and love. He was a remarkably intuitive creature and very loved by all that met him. My wife invited me back to her home where she is living with my MIL, where we had dinner and tried to get some rest. My phone rang at 2:22 a.m. It was the animal hospital. They told me that our dog slipped into cardiac arrest. I knew that he wasn't going to make it. However, I once again pleaded and begged with them to do whatever they could. My wife came out of the bedroom. She knew from the look on my face and immediately began crying. 8 minutes later, the animal hospital called again to let me know he had passed away. My wife and I held each other all night and comforted one another. When we awoke, we went to church that morning. It is the old Russian New Year's. We prayed separately and then went to see our dog's remains. He was like our child in many ways. This led to many emotional breakdowns on both our parts. However, I was determined to remain strong. We went back to my house. We looked for poisons or anything our dog could have gotten into. There was nothing. We then went to the neighbor's home that had found him barely alive, hidden by her bushes. She comforted us. She let us know that we loved him and that we did everything we could for him. She also said that our dog was perfectly healthy moments before he collapsed. I've spent the last few days with my wife. I know she loves me just as much as I love her. She is afraid. She knows if we divorce, I will never speak to her again. I'd consider that the ultimate betrayal. She is also afraid that I will not be able to provide her stability, and that my impulsive behaviors would destroy us. Only she knows what she can handle or what is going to happen. I love her with my heart, body, and soul. I don't see myself with anyone else, and I'm willing to do whatever I can within myself to show her that I am that person that can provide her what she is looking for. I told her I have only one expectation of her, and that was honesty. I told her how much I love her. I also told her that I will sign divorce papers if that is what she wants. However, there will be repercussions, and I will not be in any part of her life. I think she has some fantasy that if we get divorced, that we will remain friends and eventually reconcile. This will never happen. There are certain things I know about myself. This is why I've continued on as if I were married and continue to honor my vows despite our being separated. I know if certain lines are crossed, neither of us would be able to recover or turn back. Infidelity and divorce being the two that top my list. It is horrible and tragic that it took our dog's passing to finally bring us together. Maybe he knew. Perhaps his death was to serve a greater purpose. Regardless, I will always cherish the time I had with him. I will honor him, and I will never forget him. My dog, we love you. Hopefully we will see you again someday. Today, I went on a few interviews. I think I might have landed a good job. The company is known for being stable and caring about its employees. I might not make the most money, however, that isn't my primary concern. Quality of life, I feel, is much more important than $2,000 or $3,000 more a month. The events that I have experienced over the course of the last few years have really opened my eyes to what is truly important to me. I have changed my thought processes and habits drastically. At the core, I am still the same person. However, how I perceive, process, and interpret life's existence has caused a maturity within myself. Coming to terms with the fact that I was my own worst enemy and that I am the one that is essentially completely responsible for where I am at today was a difficult reality to accept. I believe that this is something as humans we all know, however for some reason we always ignore. It is infinitely easier to blame or become a victim than to own your own actions and take responsibility. My wife and I went to dinner last night. It was nice to finally have a constructive conversation about our relationship. I know where she stands. It's either fix myself or divorce. Fortunately, I've used the time we have had apart constructively. She asked if I knew why she left, and I was able to answer the question correctly. It was me, my own impulsive and negative habits. I forced her into a position where she felt she had no other choice. I wanted it the easy way. I wasn't willing to put in the work on myself, and for many years I showed a pattern of behaviors that were not healthy. I asked why she didn't talk to me. She knew I wouldn't listen. I asked her why she didn't force me to listen. However, in actuality she did. She forced me the only way she knew how. She knew I wouldn't listen any other way, and that if I truly loved myself and her that I would figure it out. I told her I was not angry and that I understand. She gets frustrated when I talk in terms of us at times and our future. She is wary of me. She knows I'm intelligent and can manipulate situations with ease. I need to show her my actions and behaviors are not only real and genuine, but that they are permanent as well. I need to earn her trust and respect back. Only I can fix this, and although it takes two to make or break a relationship, it is me that holds all the cards this time. She did what she had to do, and now it is my turn to step to the plate and be the man I should have been all along. I've been clear in my intentions, feelings, and actions, and I know without a doubt that only I can make my marriage the best marriage possible because I know I made the right choice and married the best person for me. I love my wife with my heart, body, and soul. I love myself just the same. Now is the time to put in the work necessary because there are no shortcuts or easy ways to anything that holds any real value. I too ran from my problems. It was the easy way through life. I believed my own lies because I made good money. My financial success and ability to earn above average income inflated my ego and gave me the false sense of superiority. I used this as justification for my behaviors. I acted on the outside most of the time like an arrogant prick. I behaved as if I was above certain people and situations. Remarkably, I have many redeeming qualities that were my saving graces. I was generous with everyone and anyone. I had in the past and always will have a huge heart. I am loyal, sentimental, and sincere with the people close to me. I will go the extra mile to show people I care and I have integrity. I am cautious with other people's feelings, however I'm not afraid of taking risks with my own emotions. It's almost ironic that I am where I am today. Life keeps throwing hurdles at me, and in the past, I would get angry, blame, project, play victim, and feel sorry for myself. Now, I look inwards, I look at myself. I accept responsibility for my behaviors, decisions, and actions and feel that everything is a consequence or reaction to my indiscretions or attributes. I focus on making the best possible decisions for all parties involved as opposed to taking the path of least resistance, even if it isn't the easiest or fastest solution. Nothing in life meaningful comes easy. It takes work, regardless of how others perceive it. Being able to happy with your choices, while others perceive your actions as if they were natural and fluid regardless of the amount of inner struggle, is now one of the ways I would define true success. I believe now having the foresight to think my actions through as opposed to making emotional decisions or being impulsive is a characteristic I am proud to have regained. Things now take on so much more meaning and purpose. Floating through life aimlessly is such a waste when you have the opportunity to make the best possible life for yourself and others. I am disappointed in myself for allowing things get to the point where they are in order to learn this. The pain of changing was far surpassed by the pain of allowing things to continue the way they were. The biggest struggle I now have is making this happen under the timeline I want it to. I guess the analogy of turning a freighter ship comes to mind. It takes time and patience. I want more from her and I need more from her. However, I also know that pushing her is not the answer. Only patience and unconditional love for her is what I feel is the correct way to handle the present situation. I feel at the moment the best thing for me to do is to work on myself and get our lives stable again. My inability to be responsible with pain medications created the majority of this mess, so I know only I can fix it. I am ready to have her back in my life, and I want her back in my life emotionally, physically, mentally, and in every other way, especially the physical part, although I know she will come to me when she is ready and feels comfortable. I wish there was more I could do to speed things up, however I can patient for now. I feel I really have no other choice if I want my marriage to work, and obviously that is what I really want. Today has been particularly hard. I have my moments when I really struggle to remain positive and happy. The empty void in my life where my wife and dog once filled seems overwhelming today. I text or chat online with my wife every day, however I really miss her and wanted her company today. I invited her to the movies, she declined. I then invited her to dinner. She also declined again. Finally, I let her know that I wanted to spend time together and that she has an open invitation. I don't know how to ask her to spend time with me or completely express my feelings to her without risking overwhelming or pressuring her. I hate feeling all these apprehensions, and I wish I knew how to make her feel comfortable enough to want to spend her free time with me. I wonder on days like today if this is just going to go on forever like this. Will she ever have the ability, capacity, and desire to openly love me again? I really miss the simplest of things that we shared together, most importantly just spending time alone and enjoying each other's presence. The last thing I want to do right now is purchase another dog. I am not emotionally ready, nor do I have enough stability and comfort within my current situation to take on the responsibility. Eventually, I'll probably get another dog, however, now is not the time. About a week ago I started a daily habit of sending my wife quotes about something that either I felt pertinent or touches me in a way that brings enlightenment, happiness, joy, or pleasure. She seems to appreciate it, and it's my way of saying I'm thinking of you and I love you without necessarily saying those things directly. It keeps me reading inspirational and motivational things, as well as it helps me keep a positive mindset. It also seems to bring a smile to her face, which in turn makes me happy. Today I added that it would bring a smile to my entire being if we were to spend some time together. As I mentioned earlier, I know things take time, however I am ready for more and want more. I went on a second job interview this morning and it seemed very promising. They want me to follow up with them on Friday. I make an effort on a daily basis towards working on my goals. Some days I feel like I accomplish a lot, and other days I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. So far today I feel like not much has been accomplished. I really want the best for myself and the people in my life. I know I slipped and fell very hard and very low, and it is going to take considerable effort on my behalf to get things back to where I want them. After all the bad news lately, it would be nice to catch a break. I want to spend time with her, and seeing her happy brings me enormous pleasure. I struggle with how to show her through my actions any more than what I am currently. I feel it is time that we both are ready for more from each other. However, she has her fears, and I am nervous as to whether to take it further than I am currently or to risk pushing her, which I don't want to do. I suppose that is where my inner turmoils are in regard to the situation. She has always been one that likes for a man to take control. For example, here is a portion of our last text messages. Her: by any chance did you drop off my dress at the cleaners? Me: yes, I dropped it off. It will be ready on Tuesday. I love when you wear that dress. When I saw it on the mannequin I knew it would look beautiful on you. That was one of the reasons I bought it for you. People tend to often compliment me on my voice, however we always seem to text. Do you dislike my voice? Her: thank you. You have a very nice voice. Me: well, that very nice voice has a very wonderful guy attached to it. That guy would be absolutely ecstatic if you'd spend some time with him. He would be willing to do whatever makes you smile. I know this because he told me when he sees you smile it makes him very happy. Today I've been feeling somewhat down. I feel there has been very little progress in my marriage. Although I try to remain positive, I am starting to feel that our marriage is completely over, that there is no more hope of working anything out. My wife still texts me almost daily, however it's always about superficial things. She claims she is my friend, yet I've had complete strangers act more compassionately. I don't need nor want her friendship under the present circumstances and terms. I'm sick and tired of the texts. I feel if someone cares they pick up the phone or they see you in person. I want to call her and tell her to stop texting me. I want to tell her that if she doesn't care about our marriage then to just leave me alone. I've had enough. I feel like I give of myself and she readily takes yet gives very little in return. She has said divorce on many occasions. She has said it out of fear and out of anger. There are no actual documents, and I offered to sign a divorce agreement amicably and file it at the courthouse together if that is what she truly wants. However, there has been no mention of it since. Maybe I'm just having a bad day. I have had a considerable amount of bad news lately and I've been experiencing so many problems. Last night I woke up thinking that we will never hold each other again. We will never make love or kiss passionately. We will never be friends or enjoy spending time together. All of our promises will be empty and unfulfilled. That this is going to be permanent and that it is over. This scared me. I wanted her to be there in bed with me. I wanted to know it was just a bad dream. However, it's not. It is my present reality, and because of this I started to feel really sad and my space filled with more negativity. I guess that is why I've been upset today. The truth is that my wife made a choice to leave. She has made a choice to point out to me that she doesn't want to work on our marriage, and in her opinion it's too late. She chose to leave it up to me to play a psychic and figure out what was wrong. She also chooses to avoid me for the most part. She chooses to only text me on a daily basis because she can't let go, yet she isn't willing to risk anything beyond that. She wants me to fix things, yet she isn't willing to do anything. I feel like a bad country song. My wife left, my car broke down, my dog passed, I lost my job, etc. It is said that in life you are never given more than you can handle. However, I am at my end. My tolerance for any more disasters, life-changing events, or emergencies is through the roof. The good news is I am meeting many new people and I am starting to develop good friendships. I have 3 potential job opportunities in the area. I know that once I gain my financial footing again, most of my problems will dissipate. I've been running a little over 375 miles a day for the last few weeks since I quit smoking last month. I feel healthier than I've been in a while, and I've been catching up on my reading. I've changed many of my negative habits and replaced them with healthy ones. I know that marriage, love, and commitment are choices, not emotions. With that being said, I am aware of my mistakes and my bad habits. I would like to think I've grown as a person and learned from my mistakes. I still honor my vows, yet I'm starting to question why I'm tolerant of my wife's behavior and choices. Why I continue to endure the burden of remaining faithful to someone that, in my opinion, has been completely irresponsible and reckless with my love. I can't fix anything beyond fixing myself. The fact that she chooses to avoid any direct contact with me and doesn't wear her ring anymore leads my imagination to run wild at times. I really don't know what to think anymore. My emotional pain and frustrations are starting to tip the scale in the other direction. Maybe it's time I came to terms with the possibility that my marriage is beyond repair and it is really over. It's a strange thing how the truth eventually always comes out in the end. I'm not sure if it was a P or an E or both. Regardless, I found out my STBXW was having an affair all along. That was my deal breaker. I wish I wouldn't have sat around blaming myself for her infidelity, wasting months away, blaming myself, losing my job, crying like a child, overanalyzing my every mistake. Well, if you have been following my story, you know, as soon as I sent her a text about it, she closed one of the accounts she had been chatting up a storm with her newfound friend. He apparently decided to change his account to private. I guess at least I worked on myself and I'll be a better person from this no matter what. She'll enjoy whatever it is she thinks she has found, and I'm sure it will end poorly. Then she will have the same problems in her life repeated over and over until she wakes up, and I am not going to be there. I can't believe the amount of sacrifices I made for this woman. Wow, I'd hate to be on her end of karma's stick. It's going to be ugly. Now I know for sure I'm going to start dating and moving on with my life. I can't believe she allowed me to believe it was me this entire time. It's hard to tell how far back it goes. She works with this guy. I guess I am disgusted the most at people that claim to be my friend, that knew, yet they never said a word. I am happier with myself. I've changed quite a bit. I feel like a newer, better, happier, and strangely younger version of my old self. I am enjoying life. However, I am disappointed in myself for closing myself off to new relationships as long as I did. I met many beautiful, young, happy, vibrant, intelligent women that I refused to give a second thought to because I honestly believed that my STBXW was being 100% truthful with me. I made the mistake of openly trusting her despite everything. Shame on me for wanting to listen to my heart and not my head. She didn't do anything other than create enormous emotional, mental, and physical suffering and strain upon me that was completely unnecessary. I made the changes, I did the work, I made myself a better person. She deserves no credit for anything other than the shame and disgrace she has brought upon herself and us. She gets all the credit in the world for that. I have no excuses for myself. I feel only anger and relief. The STBXW finally just sent me a text. She is trying to play dumb. She writes, I don't know what it's supposed to mean. She has had almost 12 hours to form any excuse or to just come clean and be honest. She chose denial. Wrong answer. Seriously, that was the best she could come up with. She must think I am a complete moron. I'm not going to bother responding. I've had enough. Why validated her? I don't know why I can't seem to shake this heartache. My luck is finally starting to turn around. I landed a very good job. I start next week. I'm healthy and in great physical shape and improving myself on a daily basis. I'm educated, yet continually growing and learning more. I look 10 years younger than my age. I drive a nice car. I have every reason in the world to be happy. However, I am so disgusted, hurt, and angry that my STBXW could do this to us. She keeps texting me about stupid Sean T. For example, I want to come by and pick up my iPod, or did you know the car insurance payment didn't go through? I don't bother responding anymore, so then she calls, but she will not leave any messages and I won't answer her calls anyways. The only thing I want to hear from her is the truth and an apology. Anything short of that, I don't want to hear. I don't know why she can't leave me alone or why she doesn't understand this. Until then, I don't want anything to do with her. I don't want her in my life, and I definitely don't want to be her friend. It was always obvious to me. We either worked out our problems or we went our separate ways. She said she tried and gave too many chances. Bullshit. She isolated herself from the relationship, made herself emotionally unavailable to me, and ran away to other people to get her needs met. She didn't try Sean T. I tried. I know what the word try means. I rarely fail when I try. I do everything in my powers to succeed when I want or attempt something. I needed to rant and vent, let it out. I'm so sick of this. I hate that I still love someone that was so careless and disrespectful with me and our marriage. A month later, today I sent my STBXW this text. Today marks the 3-month anniversary of one of the most traumatic events I've yet to experience in my adult life. As humans, we all have said and done things that we later regret. After 3 months, I've come to the conclusion your choices can profoundly impact the people you swore to love in either a positive or negative way. You can either choose to cause destruction and pain or build and foster the love that we all seek and desire. There's a fine line between love and hate in any relationship, however, in that there is still hope because there is still emotion. When we reach the point of indifference, that is where all is lost. I don't know about you, however, I have not quite reached the point of indifference yet. All it would take is a simple, I love you, regardless of its form. You still possess the ability to melt my heart and start the process to reverse the anger, frustration, resentment, and pain you have chosen to inflict upon me. The door is still open, although only you can choose whether or not you want to walk through it. Honestly, I don't know what to feel anymore. I believe at this point I'm angrier at myself for making such a bad choice in a partner. I believe she was a better person than what I've recently experienced. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. However, I guess some people become better and all the while others become worse. I guess I'll know for sure in a few short days. As I signed divorce papers today, I realized I had in fact really not done anything too terribly wrong. I gave my marriage everything I had and never gave up on what I felt in my heart was right. I loved my wife as much, if not more than, anyone can love someone. Granted, I made mistakes, my choice in partners being the obvious. However, in my opinion, you don't abandon your spouse over mistakes without so much as a spoken word or attempting to rectify the situation. I feel deep down someday my STBXW will regret her poor choices and bad judgment to impulsively and recklessly abandon our marriage and push so hard for a divorce as opposed to pushing for a resolution. I still to this day have not been informed as to what her reasoning is. As a matter of fact, I don't even think she knows herself. What she has done falls outside the boundaries of what any sane, healthy person would do. Honesty would have been appreciated. Why is this so hard? I had to get a new phone and every old picture and text message reloaded from an old backup. I have 9 months of text from her and this just doesn't make any sense to me at all. There is nothing, not even so much as a warning sign. What happened? Why does this feel so wrong? Almost a year later. Wow, it's been a while since I've been here. It's now been a little over a year since my ex-wife left me, and although my life has gone on, I still love her. I still wake up in the middle of the night thinking about her. I still want to believe that this is just a nightmare. I want to wake up, find her at my side. It's as if my heart cannot accept the reality of the situation. I still feel that we should be together, despite the fact she tells me to move on. This has been a particularly tough week for me. Not only is this the anniversary of the week that she left, but it is also the week of my 40th birthday. I still have no closure from my divorce. The only reason my ex gave for the divorce was that she lost respect for me. I was in a very bad place at that particular point in time of my life. Since then, I've managed to pick up the pieces and find stability. However, I have yet to be able to find anything that can replace the void that she left. I still think of her every day and reflect on our marriage. I know we were going through a tough time financially and my addiction to pain medication spun out of control, although we always loved each other, or at least I thought we did. I have been off pain medication for a year now. I have found other ways to cope with the pain. I've made so many changes in my life. I am healthier and in better shape than I have been since my teens. I run marathons, triathlons, obstacle course challenges, I kite, surf, swim, and run. I also go to the gym regularly. I have my own business and I am comfortable financially. I have everything in my life with the exception of my one true love. I wish I knew how to get my heart in sync with my head. I'm going from relationship to relationship, disappointing woman after woman because I am still in love with my ex-wife. I really wish I knew what to do. I would give anything to fix my relationship with the person that I was once married to, if in fact that person still exists. Then regrouping, getting healthy, putting the pieces back together, and dating. There are better people out there. What my ex-wife did was crappy, horrible, screwed up, and an overall scumbag thing to do. But keep in mind this came from out of nowhere as far as I am concerned. I had 7 really wonderful years with this person. In a way, I suppose that is why this has been so hard for me to accept. If we had problems, or a bad marriage, this all would have been palatable. However, that was not the case. Like I said many times, if I knew why, or she gave me some closure, I feel I would be able to recover much easier. Instead, I have to make up stories in my mind, which always leaves room for doubt. My comment, told you in the beginning, concentrate on you. The woman you still care about only exists in your mind. When you get to thinking about her, or get down, shake your head and go do something for you. Personally, I exercise a lot, but you could do anything that you enjoy that takes your mind off of her. Eventually you will think of her less and less. Then one day you won't think of her at all that day. That evening you will smile and know the worst is behind you. Forever. It really is up to you to heal. If you continually pick at the wound, you never will.